Let's open the show.
Wystawę uznajemy za otwartą.
One of the accompanying events to the Energa Camera Image International Film Festival is an arts installation by a German artist, Julian Rosefeldt. It's titled Manifesto and it starred Cate Blanchett. Julian, thank you so much for coming here. So, Julian, your exhibition opened here in Toruń in the Center for Contemporary Arts, and it's titled Manifesto. Could you describe Manifesto? What is it?
So Manifesto actually has two versions. One is a multi-channel film installation, which I show in art museums and art festivals, and the other one is a movie version, a single-screen movie version, which we edited about a year after we finalized the film. So my main work is consisting of video installations or film installations, which I show more in the world of visual arts than in movie theaters. This one is specifically about artist manifestos written throughout the last century. Artists have been not only producing visual work, but also text and manifestos, where they kind of break with the present of their time and or with the past of their time and try to address a flourishing future, or often talk very much about the here and now. These texts are often overseen. Some of them are very famous. They became manifests or monuments of art history. This specific work is dedicated to I call it creative rage in this text, which I very much admire. They are it's kind of an antithesis to the stupidity of populism, where you have a lot of rage but no meaning, no constructive thoughts, and just division. And these texts on the other side, they flourish, they are inspirational, they are creative, they are thriving, they want something. And this is something that infects the audience, I guess, when you see, especially when you're in the creative, working in the creative field, no matter if you're a writer or a DOP or something. I got a lot of feedback after the many screenings and many venues of the installation of people who said, like, this encouraged me to move on in these difficult times with whatever I'm doing. And I guess that's maybe how you could break down the message of Manifesto. Just keep reading and keep producing creative work.
And keep feeling energized and keep feeling angry, because these manifestos are all delivered by an Australian actress, Cate Blanchett. And why did you choose one actor to deliver all 12 manifestos? So
the whole project came about a bit with Cate and me meeting through a mutual friend, Thomas Ostermeier, who runs the Berliner Schaubühne, who's a mutual friend of us and who introduced us. And on that day, about 11 years ago, the idea came to the world to do something together. And then I thought, what could there be? And I knew I wanted her to show her amazing talent as a very, very multifaceted artist and actor. And by that time, I had just come across reading again some of the artist manifestos I remembered from my studies, and I thought this could be something. Especially it was a time when populism was beginning to be a term that we're now all familiar with, and I thought that these texts have that incredible energy, and they could maybe be something that interests Cate, and approached her with this idea, and she was first a bit positively surprised, because the works that she knew for me were all dialogue-free, and here I came with the opposite idea, with a lot of monologue and a lot of text. To answer your question, I think it was important to have a comparable setup to allow this text to also begin a dialogue among each other. And so each of the scenes is dedicated to a personality. Let's call it more a caricature than a character, because they're really more like Cate and I like to say they're vessels for ideas. These wonderful characters she delivers, and they all, or she performs as, they're all delivering a monologue, which is a collage of various manifestos within the isms of art history. But what interested me was forget about the visual work that all these famous artists create and really focus on the spoken word and on the thought. And that is something that I think Cate is just very, very good at.
She is amazing. She's absolutely amazing, embodying all these varied characters. However, do you think there is a bit of a threat there that the audience in the art gallery are so overwhelmed by her
performing,
that the words are a little bit lost?
So what I think is you can decide as a viewer to see this installation or even the movie version in one or the other way. So you can, because she is so fantastic at what she does, you can focus on her acting skills and on what she does with each character and delivering for each character another dialect as well. But you can also, because she's so good, completely forget about it and really dive deeply into the words. I mean, that's what acting is. Right? Acting is helping to make something believable, and I think she's very good at both. So her skills and her technique is amazing. So you can watch that, but you can also just forget about that and dive deep into the thoughts in Manifesto, because she is so good.
I was quite amazed last night that you urged your viewers at the gallery opening here in Toruń to put their iPhones away and just to experience art. And you know, they listened. That was the really surprising thing. Why do you think, why did you say that? And why do you think the audience listened to you know, that they were so engrossed you could hardly see a phone?
Yes. Well, I think we all know that these tools, they are partly helpful, but they're mainly not so helpful to what's going on in the world at the moment. I'm not against technology, of course, and technology developments, but all the algorithms of the internet, which we keep on consuming on our little digital slaveholders, they're not really helpful in the political development of the world in the recent years. They have been very divisive. They have been simplifying complex thoughts, and I'm not against it. I use it all the time myself. But I think there are moments when I would love to invite the audience to just take them away in their pockets, throw them in their pockets, and just dive into the work. I also was amazed yesterday because we didn't have them. There were so many people at the opening. We didn't have enough simultaneous devices for the translation, and the booklets were not handed out yet, I guess. And so most people just enjoyed and tried to understand the English original version. That was very touching to see that people, even if they don't follow up with everything, they enjoyed it and they tried to get out of it as much as they could.
But personally, my favorite piece was Cate in the classroom, delivering explaining to the children. Do you think this message is somewhat lost, but because the audience was so, you know, amazed by Cate's delivery, or is that for you the sort of the arc that explains the whole narrative? How important is that?
First of all, I think opening nights are always obviously also an occasion to meet, and I'm always amazed with this work, and that people nevertheless, although there's champagne in the glass and everything, they really get into the films. That specific film that you quote is also one of my favorites, by the way. Kind of sums it up in a way. It's about film manifestos, and it contains Jim Jarmusch's golden rules of filmmaking, which in one of the paragraphs also kind of contains the recipe that I worked with or I applied for Manifesto: steal from everywhere. Nothing is original. That's basically what I did. I took all this text not written by me and recollaged and re-edited them to this work. But it also is important to me, and especially at the end of the itinerary, if you want so, because it shows children, and children are dealing with the world we leave for them. they have to cope with it, and they are obviously also opening up a door, hopefully with a big glimmer of hope, but there's a lot to deal with. Well, and so for me, that specific scene and what she did with it, with this humble character that is so tender and humble with the children, but also really kind of, educational, strong teacher. It's just brilliant acting.
Yeah, that was really something. And when your work was first shown, what, 2015, 16, and it's shown now that the political landscape changed dramatically. What do you remember? How did the audience? What were their main takeaway points then, and what about now?
Well, I think when Trump was about to be elected the first time, it wasn't clear if he would be, he was. And he played a lot, you remember that, with the term fake news, and that was a new term at the time. I remember the audience at Sundance, where we premiered the movie version, was laughing in the moment that the newsreaders, that was all current art is fake, and I didn't get the reference to Trump's campaign at the time. Now it's everywhere. Like now we are. I mean, it's horrifying, and it seems like a bizarre, grotesque horror comedy. What's going on in the world at the moment? Not only in the United States. I mean, it's infectious. And here again, I do think we underestimate the responsibility of the algorithms of search machines that kind of channel your worldview within a few clicks so fast. And that's a very dangerous development. I think politicians are not really aware of their responsibility. They have rules for everything, or they try to set up rules in the traffic, for instance, to protect people, but they're not aware yet of their responsibility, or not enough aware, because it's obviously all about the protection of freedom of speech, which we all agree on, but there's another element to it that is very poisonous and very, very dangerous for our democracies, and that is a development that, as we all know, has been overrunning us in the last years. And therefore, I do think that the world, I mean, I'm not saying the work is only an anti-populist piece, but it is also.
It is very much so.
And I do
Julian,
think,
thank you so much. Thank you so much for this magical moment last night, and for this incredible artwork. Thank you.
Thank you so much, too. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian.